Hello, my lovely third graders. Congratulations, you finished the first round of writing and you should feel proud of yourselves. You should really feel good. If you got words on a paper and you told a story about something that happened in your life, you should feel good about that because this is not an easy thing. The next step is for us to have you do that again, but you're going to be doing that completely on your own without any feedback from your teachers. And so now we want to see, well, what can they do without us telling you? So hopefully you're sitting down at some point this week on either Tuesday or Thursday or Friday, and you are writing a small moment story about something that matters, that's something that happened to you. It's a true story, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's got some dialogue and action and then thinking, and you have thought really hard about that beginning and how you want to really get your reader's attention and how you want to end it with some kind of a wallop of a punch. And throughout that story, you have reminded us that you know about good writing and that you are editing and making sure that your things are in paragraphs. So all of those things are things that we've addressed over the last several weeks of school, and now we want to see what you can do on your own. With that said, some of you are going to be not writing your small moment story because you are home. And if you are home, you're doing it on one day if you're the full remote students. And if you are a blended learner, you're going to be home this week and you're going to want to know what to do when you're not writing the small moment story in school with me. So I thought maybe you would want to do a little free write in your notebook. It occurred to me that maybe you don't really know exactly what a free write is. And without any kind of parameters, you might get a little confused. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I'm going to show you what I think a free write might look like for a third grader. All right. First of all, a traditional free write is kind of like if you were in my class and we did this, I think we did this with most of the students. You did a 2-minute sprint. And in a 2-minute sprint, we took 2 minutes to just like write as quickly as you can on paper. And some of you might have written for 2 minutes, I don't know what to write about, 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 and that was it. If that's what happens, then that's what happens. The hope is that if you do this long enough, you'll actually find something to write about. So a 2-minute sprint is kind of like a free write. So what it might look like is that you're sitting down with your paper and you start, right? I love my mom and dad very much. They take care of me and take me apple picking. I really love the taste of the honey crisps because they are sweet and juicy. This makes me think of orange juice, so forth. Now, this makes no sense. This is not what it's supposed to do. It is, as far as making sense, it's not supposed to provide you with this life-altering piece of writing. But in here, there might be possibly a piece of writing that you could generate from an idea that came out of your free write. Maybe I want to write about my mom or my dad. Maybe I want to write about apple picking. Maybe not with my parents, but I'm thinking about apple picking that I took my kids on. Oh, and the Honey Crisps, don't even get me started. Maybe I want to write a whole piece. Maybe I want to write a letter to a Honey Crisp apple, thanking it for being so delicious and for making my whole weekend complete. Sweet and juicy, things that are sweet and juicy. I might want to write about something like the last orange that I had that I actually picked off of a tree. Or maybe I want to write about oranges that I had when I went to Florida. There is a small moment story right there about my first trip to Florida when we got into the car and we drove all the way down there. And as soon as we got to Georgia and we're about to cross over the line from Georgia into Florida, my dad rolled down the window and I first felt that warm, sultry air that I had never experienced before. And we drove up to this sort of a station, and a man said, "Hi, how you doing? Welcome to Florida." And he handed fresh squeezed orange juice, and there's a story. And I might say that I got that idea from my free write. Okay. Another thing that you might do in your writing a free write this week, it doesn't have to be that traditional thing, but you might write poetry. Maybe you'll write a poem about an apple. You might sit down and write a letter. Maybe you'll write a letter to that apple, or write a letter to your mom or your dad or your favorite family member or your neighbor, or maybe make it a strong statement and write a letter to the teacher or the principal about something you really believe in. Another thing that you might do in your notebook is you might take a few minutes to write your gratitude list. Okay. Another thing that you might do, and gratitude lists are so important, especially now in this time. It is not necessary that you find these big earth-shattering things to be thankful for. You could actually write a gratitude list and be thankful for this candle, or for this iPod charger, or for this hat, which is going to keep me warm all winter. I don't know. If you decide that you don't want to write poetry, you don't want to write a letter, you don't want to write a gratitude list, you can go back into your notebook and generate a new entry based on something that you wrote down in your list. Oh, I want to write about my dog or my best friend. God, I put that in my list. Take a look at what's on the cover of your notebook, the way you decorated it. Are you getting ideas from that? These are all things that you might do when you're generating ideas for a notebook entry. And I would like for you to do that on the days that you are not writing this week for the personal narrative on demand assessment. Okay? So that means that on the days that you are not in school, if you are not a full remote student, those A, B, and C students, if you're not in school, and then you are at home and you're doing a free write in your notebook. I hope you have a beautiful day.